Then he had a very long arm that covered his hand. Now, as a server, I was kneeling behind him, and so his hand was between me and the candle. And when he lifted up his hands to pray, the alb fell back from his hands, and you could see the light of the candle through his hands, as if it was filled with blood.
Padre Pio's assistant was shocked by the wounds.
I had prayed to see them, but unfortunately, when I saw them, it looks like a leprous hand. I said, God, don't let me see them again.
While applying a soothing bandage to his chest, Father Alessio also saw the wound in his side.
Not that I made a trick on him, but I tried to unbutton the thing. I did, and put, you know, the bandage, cool bandage on here. But at the same time, I pulled out the dress, and I saw a wound here, right down here, was so large, with a cross, but not bleeding. Just a cross across here. And that's why I saw the wounds on his side.
Padre Pio died in 1968. More than 100,000 people attended his funeral. The doctors who had examined Padre Pio in his lifetime pronounced his stigmata medically inexplicable, and his death brought no solution. Post-mortem photographs of his hands showed barely a trace of the wounds of 50 years. His side showed only a fine scar. His feet were completely healed. Today, in Manfredonia, near San Giovanni, this man, the devil's advocate, is charged with assessing the life of Padre Pio. Don Antonio D'Amico is a member of a Vatican tribunal, which will decide whether Padre Pio should be beatified, the first step to sainthood. The tribunal, presided over by the Bishop of Manfredonia, examines witnesses who knew him in his lifetime. The questions are sent direct from the Vatican, but the one certain answer is that the mystery of Padre Pio's stigmata will remain as tantalizing and unsolved as it has done for half a century.
A curious feature of stigmata is they usually occur in the wrong places. We know that the Romans crucified their victims by driving nails to their wrists, yet stigmatics bleed from the palms of the hands. Moreover, although the Bible says that Jesus was pierced in the side, it doesn't say which side. Some stigmatics bleed from the right, others from the left. They can't all be correct. What the wounds of stigmatics do match are those shown in the pictures and crucifixes in their own churches. This strongly suggests that stigmata are produced not by knives or fingernails, as some skeptics have claimed, but by a much sharper instrument, the human mind. Here's an even more striking example from the medical literature. It involves a British officer in World War II. While unconscious and under heavy sedation, he developed deep rope marks around his wrists, under the very eyes of the doctors. It turned out that, many years before, he'd been a sleepwalker, and so he had been tied to his bed to prevent him from wandering around. Now, if the unconscious mind can create anything as specific as rope marks on the skin, then surely it can also produce stigmata.
Oakland, California. The New Light Baptist Church. Loretta Robertson is famed far beyond the boundaries of her parish. The first recorded non-white and non-Catholic stigmatic. Her case is unique. The stigmata first appeared when she was 10 and already an active member of the New Light Baptist Church. Her hands bled during services. She became a celebrity. Reporters asked her if it made her feel special.
It's special, but I don't want nobody to treat me like a king and a queen, though.
Later at Emory High School, the wounds opened up during a maths lesson with teacher Anthony Burris.
Coco began to bleed out of her hands. I mean, it was really just puddles of blood. And so I took a white piece of typing paper and I just scooped it up. And here it is. And I just put it in the vial. And of course, over the years, it has dried some, but there it is, the vial. And here are that's the actual print right there. So I just took her out of the classroom and we went into the principal's office and I asked permission to show her hands to the classes. She walked in his office and opened her hands and he was just spellbound. He said, go ahead. And almost every classroom we went, when she opened her hands, there was silence.
She also bled from her forehead, as though she'd been wearing a crown of thorns like Christ on the cross. At home in suburban Oakland, Claretta's mother, Alice, was amazed and alarmed when her daughter first began to bleed with the stigmata.
I saw the blood come from her hands. I saw the blood come from her feet. I saw the blood come from her right side. And I saw the blood screaming, pouring in her face. But it took me a long time to really believe that it was what they said it was, stigmata, you know. And I said, why my child?
Claretta's mother took her to visit the pediatrician.